Hello, my name is Phil. I am a vicar who loves Jesus, who loves the Bible and who loves films. And I often watch a film and think, I wonder how much of this has been lifted from the overarching story of the Bible. So in these podcasts and in these videos and in various blog posts, I'm going to be asking the question, what percentage of different films is lifted from the overarching story of the Bible? And in this edition, we are going to be asking that question of Marvel's Fantastic Four from their most recent film, Fantastic Four First Steps. Just going to give you a summary of the plot, and there are spoilers in this which I'll lay on a little bit heavier in my warning because it is a newer film. So here's the plot of that film. The Fantastic Four, which is Reed Richards, Sue Storm, Johnny Storm and Ben Grimm, have been transformed by a cosmic accident, gaining extraordinary powers. Reed's curiosity and ambition push them to explore new frontiers, but their actions unintentionally draw the attention of a cosmic force, Galactus, this planet-devouring entity, and his herald, the Silver Surfer. The world is suddenly in grave danger, and the team must confront threats far beyond anything they've faced before. As Galactus approaches, the team struggles with both personal and collective challenges. They face fear, self-doubt, and the pressure of enormous responsibility. Each member must learn to work together and confront the consequences of that previous choice. The stakes are global, and failure could mean the end of life on Earth. In the climactic battle at the end, the team pours everything into the line. Sue Storm ultimately sacrifices herself by pushing herself too hard, using all of her powers to the max to push Galactus through a portal, saving the planet but losing her own life in the process. Her death is tragic, and the team mourns the loss of their friend, and in Reed Richards' case, his wife. Yet hope remains. Through the mysterious powers of her son, Franklin Richards, Sue Storm is brought back to life, restored to the team and ready to face the future. The Fantastic Four emerge stronger, wiser and more united than ever before, having faced unimaginable danger and learned the true power of teamwork and courage. Finally, with Galactus defeated and Earth safe, the team returns to their roles as protectors of the planet. Their relationships are strengthened, their mission reaffirmed, and the world, for now at least, is safe. The Fantastic Four stand together, ready for whatever comes next. So that's the plot of the Fantastic Four First Steps. Let me remind you of the plot of the whole Bible, and I'm going to take just a little over 2 minutes to explain it to you. So Act 1 is called Fall because we start with a perfect world created by God, but because mankind decides they want to be in charge, they disobey God. That's the story of Adam and Eve, and it all falls down the toilet. Which takes us to Act 2, which is called Consequence, because of the fall, everything goes to pot. We live in a chaotic, fallen, dirty, messy world, and that's the consequence of that disobedience, what we call sin. But in amongst this consequence, God promises that someone is coming who's going to make it all right again. Act 3 is Sacrifice. God walks into this broken world in the man Jesus Christ, and he lives amongst the darkness, the chaos, the sin. And it takes its toll. He finds himself nailed to a cross, dying in this broken, fallen world. Has God finally succumbed to the effects of sin, or is something else happening? We'll find out in Act 4. Act 4 is called New Life, and you can tell from the title, of course, God doesn't succumb to the fall and to sin. What kind of story would that be? Jesus dies on the cross and he comes back to life again, proving that he is bigger than sin, bigger than the fall, bigger than the chaos and the darkness. And in coming back to new life, he extends an offer to all who follow him, that we may too look forward to being risen again from the fall. Which takes us to Act 5, Home, and the closing stages of the Bible. Through his death and resurrection, Jesus opens the way to living in a world that's a bit more like that pre-fall world. We see glimpses of it today in church at its best, but we will see it fully revealed when Jesus comes again and there's a beautiful picture of what that looks like at the tail end of the book of Revelation. So, the Bible, Fantastic Four, how much overlap is there in the overarching plots? Well, let's go through the 5 key acts of the Bible and let's see how many we can see in Fantastic Four. So let's take the first 2 together, as I often do. Fall and consequences. Do we see that in Fantastic Four? Well, I think we do, because the whole mechanism of the Silver Surfer and Galactus coming to Earth is because actually the actions of Reed Richards in particular, the world as a whole, is that they have drawn attention to themselves. So their desire to be universal and go beyond and get bigger has drawn attention to themselves. So there's that fall, that kind of arrogance, and there's the consequences of that as they've been noticed by Galactus, who's coming to eat the world now. So I think there's a tick for fall, there's a tick for consequences. On to sacrifice, Act 3. Do we have sacrifice? Yes, we do. We have Sue Storm. It's giving her life for her family and the world. She pours every ounce of energy she has into pushing Galactus into the portal, and that leaves her weak and she dies. So you've got that ultimate sacrifice from Sue. But do we have new life? Yes, we do. Franklin, her baby, has some mystical powers that we didn't know about previously, and he can bring her back to life. So we have that new life coming in again. So that's 4 of the 5 acts. And then home, the happily ever after. Again, we do get that in Fantastic Four. We see a very happy family scene at the end. I'm going to put little asterisks next to that one. As with so many films, they set up a sequel with a cut scene at the end. So yes, there is a sort of happy ending, but there is definitely a key indicator that that happy ending isn't forever, whereas the happy ending of the Bible is. So having said all of that, my arbitrary percentage of the Bible that I'm going to give to Fantastic Four First Steps is 85%. You've got all 5 acts covered, so you're going to get a high percentage there. Obviously, there's some nuance that you get in Scripture that you don't get from Fantastic Four First Steps. But my recommendation to you then is, if you want to dive in to the Bible and enjoy it, then Fantastic Four can be a wonderful get you in the mood film before diving in to the Bible.